Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If becoming a mangaka in One Piece world. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name in the description below. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 81, The terrifying world of Shinigami causes everyone to be stunned. Meeting Kori Daimyo Oden. After the raid on Soul Society led by Kurosaki Ichigo, battles spread all over, and in the end, Kurosaki Ichigo managed to arrive in time and stop the execution at the last moment. These were the events of the first part of the rescue arc, which caused the readers to ignite the enthusiasm to wait for the second part with great enthusiasm. And as they expected, the second part didn't disappoint them. No, it is more correct to say that the second part blew up their most brutal expectations, and assured the readers that anticipating its events before its release was nothing but a fantasy. Who would have guessed that Aizen would be the big villain? After their grief for him in the first part, they felt pity for themselves in this part. Just as Rob predicted, the day after his second volume was released, sales shot up again through the roof, and the volumes he put into each store their numbers was dropping at an insane rate. When he was fighting Shiki, Rob didn't want to be bothered by the system's notifications, so he cancelled it and continued to fight freely. After arriving in Wano country and before entering the urban areas, Rob found the time to check the notifications again. Surprisingly, a lot of Marines were once again interested in Bleach manga. Rob didn't expect that setting up an art store in Mary Geo's would even affect Marineford, so he started wondering, should he set up an art store in Marineford? Rob also discovered a lot of stacked notices from the world government agents from CP0 to CP9, Celestial Dragons, Gorosei, slaves, Celestial Dragons guards, and the biggest of them all, the mysterious person behind the world government nicknamed him. All these people read the new chapter with great enthusiasm. Apart from the world government and the Navy, pirates were the least numerous of his clients. After all, most pirates concentrated in the Grand Line. If he doesn't put up his art store on Whole Cake Island as soon as possible, the real pirates won't be exploring the manga world anytime soon. So far only the weak pirates of the Four Seas are enjoying the benefits of the art store. Perhaps Arabasta will be good pirates' stop point in paradise in the future as well, given that it has an art store. West Blue, Kano Country. Inside the art store, it was a bit noisy, but somehow the noise didn't affect the people focused on reading the manga. Mihawk, who is no longer a stranger to art store goers now, was one of those people who focused on reading manga. He was so focused that his eyes contained a mysterious glint from the start of his reading of the second part. How not, and this manga still surprises him with the sharpness of its fights and their magnificence. The hell! It was a terrifying level of strength possessed by these swordsmen who seemed to be mere spirits. They were spirits of death. Their swords could compare to, or perhaps even surpass, the powers of the devil fruits. Their captains could compare their strength or spiritual pressure, as it was called in their world, to the level of the admirals in this world. For Mihawk, who chose not to eat the devil fruit because of its drawbacks beyond its benefits, the Zanpakuto was an irresistible temptation. What supreme or more famous swords are compared to the Zanpakuto? Unfortunately, there is no comparison. Mihawk felt remorse that he wasn't born into the Shinigami world instead of the pirates' world. Captain Shunsui Kayaraku and Jushiro Yukite's fight against Captain Commander Yamamoto left him in utter awe. He was completely dumbfounded. A battle power like this was what he aspired to reach at any cost. Only if he reached that stage could he call himself the best swordsman in the world, and take the title from the Golden Lion. As for the fight between Ichigo and Byakuya, it was one of the best fights Mihawk had seen in Bleach so far, although he felt that Ichigo was very lucky or else he wouldn't win. Byakuya Bankai, Senbun Sakura Kageyoshi, was so awesome. Millions of sharp blades were practically impossible to avoid. It was scary to fight with someone like him. But Ichigo's hollow mask made him even more terrifying in this fight, and his Bankai, Tensa Zangetsu, became even more powerful. Mihawk felt that Ichigo's body contained many secrets, his spiritual world in particular, as it appeared in the previous chapters. I heard that Don Shinjo started training his family in bleach skills. I heard that, but what kind of skill? Kido techniques and unique Hakuda techniques and fencing skills. What an idiot, Doesn't he know that he needs Ryatsu to do this? The fool is you. Have you heard of hockey before? Hockey? Oh, Hara. Thank you for taking my order so quickly. As you can see, I really like this coffee with a milkshake. No matter how much I drink from it, I can't get enough of it. Issue thanked with a smile Belmir, who had just brought his request. You don't have to, sir, it's my job. With a satisfied smile, she turned around to serve the next customer. Issue was back to enjoy the last chapters of the new volume. I didn't really expect Aizen to be such a malicious scheme, it just surprised me. You see that? This Aizen seems like a very strong and undefeatable person. He crushed Captain Hitsugaya like an ant and easily took out the so-called Hogyoku from Rukia's body and summoned his army of those fearsome demons to bring him back to that demon realm, Hueco Mundo. Issue looks at the man who said it all and finds out that he is a man of his age, and they share the same fate. Both are blind outside the store. You're right, I'm curious to know where the story goes now. At least Ichigo and his comrades managed to survive. Not only that, but Ichigo was appointed as an official Shinigami. Mary Geos. Do you understand, Kong? From now on, your position is that of the Commander-in-Chief of the world government. It is a heavy position and a great trust. I hope you will not disappoint this trust. Yes, as you can see, the atmosphere in Mary Geos has been very strange for the last couple of months, so we want you to do something to our liking. But don't do anything negative about the art store. Kong pressed his fingertips hard as he tried to suppress his anger. How would he change anything if he didn't get close to the core of the problem? Do they think he is a god? Okay, elders, I will do as you command. Good, and you, Vegapunk, is your report on the art store 100% truthful? This time the bald Gorosei looked toward a man in white scientist clothes, half of his upper face covered with a metal mask. Yes, it is. So what do you mean by being that this is an alien technology? New World, Wano Country. From here please, sir, D. Gozaru. Rob with a mysterious smile looked at the young man who was leading the way for him. This young man was Kinemon. He didn't look much older than his future version. After all, in true timeline, he was sent 20 years into the future. But in this timeline may be that it may not happen. Rob was currently in the famous daimyo castle of Kuri, the only man in history who succeeded in reforming Kuri and turning it into an official province and standing at its head as a daimyo. Now, it was Odin, the daimyo of Kuri from 4 years ago. He kind of got tired of this life and wanted to go to the sea so bad. The moment he heard that a merchant from the outside world had come to request a formal meeting with him, he nearly punctured the wall of his castle and ran along the road to search for the merchant from the outside world. If he had not been caught by his loyal servants, Denjiro, Nekomamushi, Aizu, Kikunajo, Inuarashi, and others, he would have really done it. Just sit like a respectable daimyo and wait for him to come. You're the daimyo of Kuri, Odin-sama. But. No, but, Kinemon has already gone to meet him. Chapter 82, Daimyo of Kuri Odin and the 9 Akazaya. Opening an art store in Kuri. Ha 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 ha. You're fun, Rob-san. I didn't expect the world to be so big as you described it. If a merchant's life is more wonderful also, I thought only pirates are the freest. You are wrong, not all pirates are free, only the strong ones can be called free. Rob said in an emphatic tone. Odin was in front of him, completely ignorant of the affairs of the outside world, unfortunately, because of the Wano Kuni Lockdown Act. After all, Odin's ultimate dream was to open the borders of the Wano Kuni. You haven't told me yet, how did you overcome all obstacles and enter Wano country? Even Kinemon and the rest of the Akazaya focused on Rob's answer when they heard their master's question. I didn't need to get over any obstacles because I came from the sky and not by the sea. The sky? Yes, I can fly. So then. That makes it clear. The stars were practically appearing in Odin's eyes as if he was telling Rob, please, teach me to fly. Rob was not surprised by Odin's temperament, as he recognized him from the flashback in the anime. Until this point, Odin was a man who cared more about fun than even serious matters. Rob predicts that the first big turning point in Odin's life will happen soon when the Whitebeard pirates come here in Wano. That was why Rob decided to open an art store here in Kuri. Allowing the Whitebeard pirates to learn about his manga was the main goal. Perhaps Whitebeard's fighting would be a secondary objective. So Rob-san, why did you come to Wano Kuni? Rob looked at the person who spoke. it was a pretty girl or maybe a pretty trap, Kikunajo. I came to make Kuri an important area in Wano country. I came to make Wano enjoy manga.
Manga? Is it a kind of fruit?
I'm going to open an art store that sells stories about adventures in the outside world. For you people, these books will be treasures, won't they?
Really?
This time, it wasn't only Odin who cried out loudly, but all 9 of the Akazayas. I remember that you have a law banning outsiders from entering the Wano country, so why didn't you fire me, Odin-san? You are the daimyo after all.
Ha 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 ha. Do we have a law like this? I don't remember it. Odin patted Rob's shoulder before speaking again. We're friends now, aren't we?
So you're not a stranger anymore. My eyes can't misjudge someone. You really are a great person, Odin. From behind, the 9 Akazayas, among whom was Kanjuro, the traitor, they were watching everything. They were headed to a convenient place to open an art store. Rob and Odin previously talked about this matter. Odin was pleased to contribute a plot of ground to this operation, which his friend said would make Wano a prosperous and happy country always.
Rob's earlier words still recur in Odin's mind even now.
Your country's borders will become nothing but useless borders when I open my art store in your land. The vast world will come to you. You don't need to travel outside the country. The whole world will be in your hands. It was not only Odin who got excited by these words, but even his servants felt anticipation when they heard it.
Here, Rob-san, I think this is the right place. Odin-sama. Kinemon Dano. Ashura Dano.
Both Odin and his servants returned the greeting of their people with smiling faces. Rob was satisfied with how Odin treated his people. He was very generous.
You're right.
This is a good place, a flat plain in Central District, very good as a place for my store.
Now, you have to invite your people to come here. We have to tell them my project.
I told you earlier that I would help you set up businesses works, knowing that you would be the future shogun. That would be the best.
But why are you upset?
Rob looked at Odin's face and found that he was already annoyed.
Rob wanted to laugh right now.
I can call my people here to see the magic building you've spoken of. I'm also excited to see it, but I don't understand anything about your business.
Odin-sama, you don't need to understand anything. We are your servants. We will understand everything for you. Just rely on us. You all.
Now it's time for magic. In front of the flat grassy plain of Kuri district, a whole Kuri people, both men and women, gathered for the opening ceremony of the first art store of its kind in Wano. The people who were saved from poverty and crime by Odin became a civilized people, yearned to live a decent life. And now they were attending their first interesting event in the presence of their daimyo. Or especially by the friend of the daimyo, the outsider person. Suddenly the void curved over the flat plains and a building even stranger than the void appeared, its shadow covering the astonished faces of the Kuri people and their ruler.
Art store in Kuri Wano Kuni Dash. Officially opened.
Chapter 83, Doing a Favor to Odin by Rooting Out the Future Roots Chaos.
Yo-ho! One Piece manga is so wonderful.
The adventures of the Straw Hats and the strength of their friendship are truly enviable.
How amazing is this bond? Doesn't it remind you guys of our friendship?
Odin looked at his 10 loyal servants and brought back his precious memories of when these men started following him on his journey without even asking for his permission.
Kinemon and Denjiro were his first followers, then Aizu and Kikunajo who were just vagrant children. Then Kanjuro and Reizo. Nekomamushi, Inuarashi, and Kawamsu. And the last of them is Ashura Doji.
They all had their own story, but all of their stories came together in his service. I haven't said it before, but I'm really glad to have you all with me. You guys are the best of men. I'm so proud of you.
Kinemon and the rest.
For a moment they were dumbfounded, but then when they comprehended the situation, their eyes became misty. Their master's words at them aroused their deep emotions for the first time. After all, before they met Odin they were just a group of untamed, homeless kids. But after meeting Odin and receiving golden advice from Yasui, they became real men, who could be considered the servants of the famous daimyo of Kuri. It wasn't just Odin and his men who enjoyed the manga of One Piece, Bleach, and the splendor of the art store. but all the Curry people and even visitors from other provinces who happened to be in Curry province the moment the art store opened. It's been half a day since Rob opened his shop here in Curry, but the number of visitors hasn't decreased at all but only increased. After all, the reality of the miraculous building that can restore the sight of the blind and the voice of the deaf, adjust the height of the giant and dwarf and restore the patient's health to a normal state, temporarily, within the walls of the store. It spread like wildfire in every Curry as well as towards other areas where they could see the shop beacon above Curry from everywhere in Ueno, plus the method of transmitting news via arrows from one county to another is very effective after all. All these shocking facts are just incredible divine miracles for which the inhabitants of Ueno didn't find a reasonable explanation other than linking them to the magic that the daimyo friend did, Rob. In addition to the reasonable price that Rob set for his products. 10 silver coins for one volume of the manga, this was a very affordable price that everyone could afford. After all, there is no berry here. The people of Ueno deal in silver, gold, and platinum. This is one of the most primitive economies, but on the whole, someone like Rob would have no problem keeping pace with the economy of this closed country. Perhaps, after Odin becomes a shogun of Ueno, he will propose to him to abolish this currency system and introduce berry to Ueno or just create a coin identical to berry. Since Odin recognized Rob as his friend, Rob wasn't someone who wouldn't help a friend of his. Rather, he will nip all Odin's crises in the bud, just as he plans to do now. Currently, Rob was in the skies above the Hakamai prefecture and exactly above the residence of the daimyo Hakamai, Shimatsuki Yasui. His observation haki had been locked onto the purple-haired person for half a day now. Rob was waiting for the snake to come out of the hole. Finally, his senses picked up something interesting. Yasui-sama. What is it, Orochi? I'm sorry. My family's health is really serious and very deteriorating, and I need a lot of money for medical expenses. Please help me, Yasui-sama. Yasui looked at Orochi, who was kneeling in front of him and crying heartily, and felt pity for him again. He had always wondered how bad the health of this man's family was until he asked for medicine for them almost every month. Okay, I'll help you stop crying. What a man with a big heart, he has mercy on even people with bad intentions. Rob, who witnessed all this, couldn't help but praise Yasui's kindness. But he still considered him stupid. After all, this kindness would cause his future doom. He noticed Rob Orochi with a sly smile coming out of the daimyo residence carrying a lot of gold back with him. When he got far enough away from the daimyo's residence, he began to keep a close eye on his surroundings, making sure that no one was following him. When he was sure of this, he went to an abandoned house in the Hakamai area and rode a small dinosaur, which was his quick means of transportation. Orochi left the Hakamai area and was going to his clan buddies who had already strengthened his presence. Remnants of other Korazumi. But what he didn't expect was that the whole time someone had been following him unknowingly. He was leading the wolf into the sheepfold. Rob has always hated Orochi, and in the manga, the author introduces him like an insect who deserves to be trampled. So much so that there are fans who wished Orochi death so badly that they didn't even care if Kaido was still alive. It got worse when the Korazumi elders who instigated everything appeared. Today, Rob was determined to kill them all. Not one of them will escape from his hand. Chapter 84, Killing Korazumi's Remnant and Getting 2 Devil Fruits. Rob flew in the sky while watching like a hawk the movements of Orochi, who had been running for some time in a dense forest towards a specific destination. Finally, Orochi, who was still young and ambitious to become a shogun, arrived at an abandoned wooden house in the middle of the forest. Rob recognized this place because he saw it in the anime from Orochi's flashback. This place was the last ruined remnant of the Korazumi clan in Ueno country. Rob checked the place with observation haki and recognized 2 other people inside. They were the same old man and old woman who had incited Orochi to start everything towards the downfall of the Kazuki clan. Rob went into stealth mode and reduced his presence to almost non-existent. This was a skill he had learned from his previous life. He was used to chases. After all, in more than one place he had to sneak away in order to escape, repeating that every time. He mastered this to the point where he could become a first-class assassin if he wanted to. Today he has to assassinate someone so as not to cause him any possible inconvenience because of his annoying fruit. While Rob lurks in the shadows like a professional assassin, Orochi and his two allies laugh at Yasui's stupidity as they used to. Orochi laughed so much that his stomach hurt, while not realizing that he had brought death with him on the way.
Nikukukyu. Orochi. Did you see that?
I told you that realizing a dream starts with one step. You will definitely become a shogun.
Now you must move to the next target, Odin. It would be fun to see the future shogun financing his neck cutter, wouldn't it? Nkukukyu.
We need a lot of money, it's not enough at all. To attract Kaido's attention we need a lot of weapons, tons of that. We will be the main financiers of the beast pirates in the future, only then can the Korazumi clan stand on top again. The old woman's was Korazumi Higurashi, the same person who uses the main Nomi, and who gave Orochi the devil fruit.
Hibi Nomi, model, Yamada no Orochi.
Sure. I'll do it, I'll do whatever it takes. On the side, the old man, Orochi's second ally, Korazumi Semimaru, was playing his guitar with his eyes closed, as usual, unaware of the impending danger.
He was unaware of the death that might knock on his door at any moment.
He didn't realize it until when it actually happened. His senses warned him too late, only when the sword actually touched his neck did he get a belated warning. His eyes widened open and his senses responded in a manner faster than light. He almost activates his barrier fruit ability, but that's because he hadn't realized yet that he was already dead. The picture of his headless body was reflected in his widened eyes, which soon lost their final light. The last thing he saw and realized in this world was the fountain of his blood gushing from his neck. His head fell and rolled on the ground as a headless corpse immediately fell afterward. Next to the corpse, a basket full of fruits appeared out of nowhere. As he emerged from the darkness behind the headless old man's corpse, Rob, whose eyes were glowing with a sinister purple glint. The Surajiri sword in his hand was not stained even by a single drop of the blood of the man who had just beheaded. Rob looked toward the basket of fruits he had just taken out of his inventory and didn't find any abnormal change yet, then turned his gaze toward the duo who fell on their bottoms with shock.
Their minds haven't understand yet.
What the hell happened here? Well, we're done with the potential inconvenience. This man's fruit is rather troublesome. Since he is an old man, it means that he has lived a lot and got plenty of time to develop the barrier fruit. It would be unwise to underestimate him. Anyone who holds this kind of troublesome devil fruit should die by assassination.
Don't you agree with me, Korazumi?
You are a clan famous for assassinations after all. How do you feel when you taste from the same cup?
Now, I will enjoy chopping you to pieces.
Only now were both Korazumi Orochi and Korazumi Higurashi able to awaken from the stupor in which they had previously been plunged.
You killed Semimaru. Do you realize what you just did? He is Kaido's subordinate.
No, before we were Kaido's subordinates, we were his companions who sailed with him and guided him from a mere learner on a ship to a living monster.
Do you realize now who you just killed? Kaido has companions like you?
What a joke. Rob almost had laughed at this old woman's words. Had he not been familiar with Kaido's true personality, he would have truly believed such nonsense.
Kaido is someone who doesn't even care about his own daughter. How can he take care of disgusting old men like these? Who are you? I have nothing to do with the Korazumi clan. I'm going from here now.
Despite his fear of this terrifying man, Orochi managed to stand up and moved a little towards the door, wanting to get away from this place as quickly as possible, but his steps stopped in a very harsh manner.
Arg!
Orochi cried out in an extremely loud voice, expressing the frightening pain he was feeling at this moment. His short legs remained in place as his upper stump fell to the wooden floor. But he was still screaming from the pain that still damaged the nerves in his brain. You especially have to die hard. Just cancel the idea of getting out of here alive. Orochi's eyes were bloodshot, but that didn't stop him from feeling frightened and crying like a terrified kid.
What do you have against my clan, Korazumi? Why are you doing this?
If you're unaware, you're standing in Kaido's way. You're messing up Kaido's plans by doing this.
Kaido will never forgive you for doing this.
Before she could finish speaking, the world in front of her turned upside down, and her words stopped completely. Kaido, just shut up, you're so annoying, plus your mouth smell is so disgusting. Rob cut off her head with one blow, as he had done with her companion. This time, it was not an assassination, but a fatal blow with a tyrannical force.
Rob's stifling aura made Orochi feel despair.
A frightening picture was reflected in his eyes as the head of his second ally flew into the sky because of that fearsome man's sword. Rob started getting close to Orochi after he finished his first 2 goals.
Stay away. Stay away. Please, I don't want to die.
Before he gets into hysterics due to fear, Orochi remembers his trump card and regains his cool but outwardly still gives a facade of a frightened and pathetic person.
Have you seen these gold coins? It's a lot, isn't it?
You can take them all, just leave me alone please. Orochi continued to pretend he was really afraid of this man, but he wasn't afraid of death after he mentioned his life-saving card. He will surely take revenge one day.
Do you think you can trick me, Orochi?
Ha! I'm not deceiving you, that's really all we have.
Because of the mythical devil fruit, Yamata no Orochi, you have as many lives as heads. This fruit really is a cheat. The mythical devil fruit cannot be underestimated.
You have 8 heads, so I can kill you 8 times, right? The blood on Orochi's body froze when he heard that. With a sinister smile on his face, Rob Surajiri rose, ready to kill him for the first time. At this moment Rob looked like a demon from hell. It had been a long time since he had recovered his evil self buried deep within. From the time he got to know Alvia, that character of him began to disappear little by little, but it did not disappear at all. All that happened is that he has hidden from view and can only show it in the face of such situations. When Orochi saw that evil smile, he tried to crawl towards the exit with all his might, but Rob's sword was faster than him. With one wave the Orochi was cut in half. After some time Rob came out of the wooden house with a basket of fruits while he ate an apple. On the basket of fruits appeared 2 fruits that are different from the rest. The fruit is transparent, glass-like, and the other is purple in color with snake-like patterns.
Unfortunately, I only got 2.
Chapter 85, Baroque Works Saga, Little Garden Arc.
Little Garden Arc.
Kobe reappears in this arc. Before the Straw Hats officially reach Little Garden Island, Luffy remembers about his friend Kobe, who appeared in this arc, that he is starting to realize his dream of becoming a major figure in the Navy already. Kobe and his friend Helmaipo fell into the cruel hands of Vice Admiral Garp and began infernal training for their bodies to break the level of the ordinary person and officially enter the world of strong people.
Rob was very interested in Garp's reaction to his appearance in the manga. Maybe he might keep scratching his nose and laughing while flipping to the next page. That's how he would react, right? Garp is the first elite marine to appear in the manga, so Rob is also interested in the reaction of the elite navy. Especially Sengoku, who has officially become an admiral of the fleet, as this big news was already announced, which caused quite a stir recently. This early change in the plot didn't really surprise Rob. With his blatant interference in the plot, the change would be inevitable. After the minor arc that shows Kobe and Helmaipo's hard work and the story of each of them since they have parted with Luffy and Zoro until now, the story returns to shed light on Luffy and his comrades once again, who have reached their second island in the Grand Line. After getting his lunchbox from Sanji, Luffy went with Vivi to enjoy an adventure that he smelled from this mysterious island in which everything seems to be very huge, unlike the name of the island, Little Garden. Then Zoro challenges Sanji to contest who will be the one who catches the biggest and tastiest hunt. Thus, Usopp and Nami remained on the ship going merry, afraid of entering the island, which gave off a terrifying aura, which Nami later discovered a scary truth about. It was a prehistoric island, an island where dinosaurs did not become extinct and still roamed the earth. Not only that, but right after the crew left, a giant creature came to got the sake from them, its appearance scaring the shit out of Nami and Usopp, who pretended to be dead out of fear. Especially after seeing the giant Broggy chop off the head of a T-Rex as if he was chopping vegetables. This arc will surely be interesting to the readers. A lot of useful information about what kind of islands there are in the Grand Line. Little Garden is one of the most dangerous islands where someone can get stuck in the first half of the Grand Line. After all, the magnetic field of the island is so strong that it is difficult for a log post to absorb a magnetic field adjacent to the next island. A full year is the amount of time that the log post has to wait to register the next coordinates, and this is only relatively. That's what Nami and Usopp found out when they asked the giant Broggy about it. This is just a disaster for everyone who has reached this island without an eternal log pose. The question now is, could anyone survive for an entire year in an environment teeming with dinosaurs and prehistoric insects? An island adventure of this kind, readers will be excited to see.
Since he started drawing this part of the story, Rob's smile hasn't left his face. He used to enjoy his time drawing chapters. Rob finished drawing this arc already some time ago. But he was busy supplying enough copies that each art store would need, according to the number of sales in each store. After all, sales differ from one art store to another. There are art stores where the percentage of sales does not exceed 30%. There are also other stores, such as Mary Geo's, which sells 90%. Can you imagine that? So naturally, the number of volumes it provides in each art store will be different depending on the demand. Now, that One Piece manga is so popular in the world, Rob was on the right track to conquering the world with manga already. So he just has to continue what he's doing without caring about the consequences.
Opinions about manga One Piece vary from person to person.
Some say that it is a holy book that tells us the events of the future. And some say that it is an interesting story whose owner deserves to be commended. And some are fascinated by the real places in the manga as well as the real characters. Some consider the story just nonsense and pass on piracy ideas in a nice way. Opinions vary from person to person, but that doesn't change the fact that manga One Piece has become world famous. But the appearance of the giants, Bragi and Dory, in this arc will surely blow the minds of the inhabitants of the Four Seas. The existence of giants is not a secret or unknown matter in the eyes of the world. For Elbaf, the land of giants is a land known to the whole world.
But this is only on the Grand Line.
90% of the inhabitants of the Four Seas consider the race of giants to be a myth. Even Princess Vivi, who was Princess of Alabasta, didn't believe in their existence until she saw them with her own eyes, let alone ordinary people from the Four Seas. That's why Rob is sure this arc will educate the world's population a lot before he entertains them. But the most important thing is the reaction of his friends Bragi and Dory to their appearance in the manga.
That would definitely be fun.
They'll laugh a lot at it, and maybe like Rob even more because he showed the world their legendary fight. How Rob displayed the utter pride of Elbaf on all of them, and especially Dory, who went to fight despite his severe internal injuries due to the shameful ploy of the Baroque agents, will make readers raise their hats to the Elbaf warriors.
Usopp's proclamation of his dream of being brave and unshakable pride like the Elbaf warriors had a special stamp on this arc. Rob painted every moment of it so perfectly, he didn't miss anything and didn't add anything superfluous.
But the way it was drawn and coloring gave life to the manga, making it much better than the original story. Prehistoric island, extinct dinosaurs, fighting legendary giants, Red Ogre Bragi, Blue Ogre Dory, leaders of Elbaf warriors, pirates who became famous pirate crews 7 decades ago, the second clash with Baroque Works organization, fierce fighting, wax art making, Sanji cunning and his deception of Mr. Zero, Sanji and Zoro tied in a dinosaur hunting competition, Island Eater, going merry once again swallowed by a gigantic sea creature, Luffy and Usopp trust in the strength of giants, Island Eater, cut off by the combined attack of the giants. It all happened in this fun arc. And today happens to be the day of the weekly update. Rob was ready to publish the new volume and rekindle the reader's enthusiasm.
Chapter 86, The Famous Giants.
Dory and Bragi enthusiasm ascends to the sky.
Part 1. Little Garden Island. In a prehistoric jungle, huge animals spread everywhere. But at this moment, the sky and earth shook with the eruption of the volcano that erupted at least twice a day. Boom!
The animals returned to their burrows to avoid being crushed by 2 excited giants.
Gegyo Jayagya.
Bragi, are you ready to lose today? Giant Dory ran with his sword and shield with unstoppable momentum. The huge trees in his path were like a field of tiny plants compared to his gigantic size. He really deserved the title of Blue Ogre. On the other hand, the giant Bragi ran with the same momentum. Their strength was too terrifying. The moment the sword collided with the axe, it seemed as if the air in the middle of the attack had been broken.
An extremely powerful shockwave spread out and uprooted many trees.
The animals and dinosaurs who were close to the battlefield, they were shrunk of fear in the moment. After all, these 2 giants were considered to be the rulers of the island due to their immense strength. Even T-Rex, who is the most powerful dinosaur, can only be considered a cute cat in front of its overwhelming strength.
Gabba-babba. Do you mean losing you, Dory? After another epic fight. 61,099 fight. 61,099 tied. Gabba-babba. My old friend Dory. I got some new sake that was recently deposited at the art store. It's called champagne. Would you like some? Gegyo jayagya. I got it before you. It tastes really refreshing, especially after every fight. Yes dash. Suddenly a green light scattered from a place familiar to the two giants, and its light covered the entire island. The glow lasted for 5 seconds before it stopped. The duo looked toward each other in amazement before laughing with delight. Hurry up! I forgot it's the weekly updating day of One Piece manga. Broggy and Dory ran towards the art store, while terrified the animals and dinosaurs who thought the fight of kings was over. Alabasta Kingdom. Your Majesty. A new volume of One Piece manga has been updating. Igaram, who was still a young man, ran into the royal hall bringing the new One Piece book with him. Oh, Igaram? We've been waiting for you, thanks for your hard work. I appeared in the chapters again, my king. I was advising Vivi-sama. I'll see, Igaram, don't spoil the events. Ah. Sorry, Your Majesty. I was too excited. Igaram left the manga book in the king's hand before asking permission and leaving. Every time I see Vivi, I really feel like she's my daughter. That feeling seems ridiculously certain. Vivi's face was the first thing Cobra saw on the front page of the manga, so his first comment on Vivi was naturally, "Did you see that, my dear? I told you I had the same feeling." Nefertari Titi came out of the shower, her wet curves so sexy, but Cobra, who he was soaked in the pleasure of reading manga, didn't see it. "You're right, TT. Then let me read the manga with you." "Sure, come here." "Ah. Husband, why is your nose bleeding?" "Drum Kingdom." "Oh. Little Garden?" "It's been so long, the prehistoric herbs there can't be found anywhere else. Maybe I should make another trip to that place." Koreha drank a cup of champagne while she began reading today's volume. The moment the Straw Hat Pirates descended on Little Garden Island, she got to know the place. After all, she didn't live a long life for nothing. Little Garden Island was the closest to Drum Island, so she's been to it not just once. Although it is a really dangerous island, Dr. Koreha was by no means simple, especially in her youth. Oh. Aren't these Broggy and Dory? What a surprise. They are still fighting until now. The giant race really has muscular heads. Ha 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 ha. But they are very kind nonetheless. When the events headed south with Dory hitting a bomb in the stomach, and he's going to fight Broggy though, and losing with Broggy because of that wax bastard, Mr. 3, Koreha's mood turned angry. She never thought she would react to a fantasy tale with such emotions one day. But this wasn't a fantasy book in her eyes anymore. The two kind giants she knew had saved her life in the past. So how can she not react angrily after seeing a wax scoundrel plotting to bring down her two friends with such malice? Straw Hat Luffy. I'm counting on you to save them. Koreha continued to read the chapters with fluctuating emotions with each subsequent event. Next to her were the inhabitants of Drum, who were accustomed to the warmth of the store, in the same position as Dr. Koreha. In their lives, they had never believed that the legendary giant race really existed, because they couldn't imagine what they would look like. But when they saw them in the manga, they completely believed in their existence. It was a feeling that is difficult to describe, but all the readers of the manga felt as if they were receiving a spiritual revelation, so it was easy for them to believe everything that came in the manga is real and existing. And that's why everyone believes in Broggy and Dory in Little Garden now. A prehistoric island, where dinosaurs roamed the earth. Who would have thought such a place really existed? It seems to be close to their island. Nami is sick. Her temperature is too high, as shown at the end of the volume. I think she was bitten by a prehistoric poisonous insect in Little Garden. God. Are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? Koreha, who had finished reading the manga, with a happy smile on her face, looked at Hirolik, who looked like a crazy person at this moment. Not only her,
but all the people who were in the tavern looked at him in confusion.
She needs a doctor. And what is the closest island known to the quality of its doctors in that region from the sea? Ha!
It's our island, of course, but you're not a doctor that falls into that category, Hiralik-san.
You hurt my feelings.
Hiralik looked toward the person who had said that with teary eyes.
Chapter 87, The Famous Giants.
Dory and Broggy enthusiasm ascends to the sky.
Part 2. Little Garden. Smoker, Princess Vivi.
She's the lost princess of Alabasta.
Toshiji, Alabasta is a kingdom amid a revolution. Do you think some criminal organization and the Straw Hat Pirates are somehow involved?
Smoker, I don't know, but this is our first clue as to where the Straw Hats are.
Toshiji, so are we. Smoker, yeah, call headquarters and get the eternal pose over here. Marine, yes, sir.
Smoker, mark the path to Alabasta, the desert kingdom.
Broggy, you seem to be in a hurry.
Dory, it's sad to see you go, but I won't stop you.
I hope you can save your kingdom.
Vivi, thank you.
Luffy, don't kill each other, you giants. Sanji, wait and you'll see, what I caught will be the biggest. Zoro, we'll see. Usopp, bye, sir. Someday, I will go to Elbaf.
Broggy, our friends are about to leave from the east side.
Dory, we can't let them go alone with that monster in there. Broggy, how's your surgeon? Dory? Dory, I will live.
Broggy, my axe and your sword lived long enough.
Dory, do you have any regrets? Broggy, of course.
This axe has been my battle partner for over 100 years, but
if it's to help them, it's worth it. Dory, so it's settled. Sanji, look closely. My lizard is the winner. Zoro, are you blind? The unicorn is bigger. Luffy, who cares? Both look good to eat. Zoro/Sanji, you shut up. Luffy, oh, look. They are the two giants. Usopp, they came to say goodbye. Broggy, there's only one reason why you guys can't. Dory, to reach the next island. Nami, what? Luffy? Dory. You risked your lives to defend our honor. Broggy, and now whatever the cost. Dory, we will not allow any enemy whatsoever to defile the pride of our friends.
Broggy, trust us, and sail straight ahead.
Whatever happens, sail straight ahead. Usopp, okay. Luffy, will sail straight ahead. Zoro, what are they talking about? Dory, it's time to say goodbye. I hope we meet again. Broggy, I hope so too. Nami, look. In front of us. Dory, there it is, the Eater of Islands. Broggy, we'll make way, Elbaf's pride is at stake. Oi, Dory? Yes, Broggy. We were the stars of the show, weren't we? That's what it looks like to me too. Have we become friends of the Straw Hats? That's what it looks like to me too. We've kept Elbaf pride, haven't we? That's what it looks like to me too.
Broggy and Dory looked at each other and then right after that.
Gagio Jaya Jaya. Gababababababa.
The duo laughed non-stop, as the ground shook as their huge bodies moved from place to place as they laughed and tears of happiness sprayed from their eyes. They were so happy, beyond description. Their enthusiasm far surpassed anyone else who had seen themselves in the manga. Their enthusiasm literally soared to the sky. After they finally calmed down. I think Rob knows us well. I even forgot why we disagreed. I didn't think I'd remember it again because of the manga. A nostalgic smile appeared on Broggy's face as he looked at the face of the innocent little girl who was the direct cause of their ongoing fight until now. Yes, I remember it now. It was because of the little girl we started fighting over who had the biggest catch. All our old friends are drawn here. How did Rob know that? Should we ask him when he comes next time, Broggy? So we have another reason to stay here and fight,
to ensure that the Straw Hat's journey continues, right? Then we'll keep doing it. But my catch is greater than yours. No, my catch is bigger. Look at your catch skull, it's smaller than mine. Gagiojai Agia. Gababababa. Ohara. Rob Sama. Nami, what's going to happen to my daughter? Why, she's fallen into bad shape at the end of the volume. Please tell me she'll be fine. Please.
Belmir grabbed Rob's leg, refusing to let him go while I repeatedly asked him.
Alvia, Rob told her that, we want to know that too. Sara, Rob Sama, we also want to know. Rouge. Matriarch. Rosinante, teacher, we want to know, too. Da Flamingo. Rob looked at all of their faces, they were all seriously curious about Nami's health. Well, no need to worry, though she will be in life-threatening danger, but in the end, she will survive. Ding. Plus 5,066 art points from Gorosei? Ding. Plus 5,043 art points from Gorosei? Ding. Plus 5,100 art points from Gorosei? Ding. Plus 5,200 art points from Gorosei? Ding. Plus 5,405 art point from Gorosei? Ding. Plus 5,000 art points from the Chief Commander of the World Government Kong. Ding. Plus 5,300 art points from Fleet Admiral Sengoku. Ding. Plus 5,000 art points from Vice Admiral Garp. Marine Ford. Kobe, Helmeppo? Am I going to train these wretches in the future? But first of all, why do I look so old in that brat's manga? That's all the more reason to look for it. Garp, we recently had reports of a sky-destroying fight between Golden Lion Shiki and Sky Sword Rob. On the account of the witnesses, their fight ended in a tie. How better not to look for him for trouble. Sengoku, do you think this will stop me? And what if he's strong and can tie with Shiki? That would be for the best. No, that's not good. What's not good about it? Ha? Seriously, do you think I'd lose to that brat? It's not like that, Garp, but the 5 elders are forbidding us to directly interfere in the actions of the Sky Sword. It is taboo. As if I'm going to care about those old foggy people. Garp. The author didn't mistake drawing you as an old man, because after 20 years you'll be just like that. You have another target in your head to look for him, right? Garp continued to eat the senbei without much to answer his old friend. But a twinkle appeared in his eyes before disappearing. Sengoku didn't notice anything as he was seriously waiting for his answer. Mary Gios. So those giants who gave us a real headache 70 years ago were hiding in the little garden. Ha 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 ha. What news from heaven? They are still wanted for justice, and their skills seem to be rusting, even though they can pierce the island eater, but that means nothing to true power. Should we send the arrest warrant immediately? We'd be a joke if we didn't arrest them. The whole world knows they exist now, we have to arrest them. It's decided, send the admiral. What Rob didn't know was that all 5 Gorosei had unanimously decided on the decision to capture the giants. This was going in a clear line towards another clash between Rob and the world government. Wano country. This morning, while the people of Kuri were enjoying reading manga, which brought them an indescribable joy. On a Kuri beach, a ship resembling a white whale crashed. It was the famous Moby Dick ship. Today is the same day that Whitebird's crew was stranded in Wano. But because Rob messes with fate, Odin's arrival is delayed and Whitebeard bumps into him. Gorarara. Looks like we're having bad luck today, men. Marco, this is what it seems, Oyaji. Ha 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 ha. Fun giants. Their laughs are fun, their personalities are great, their strength is amazing. I want to fight them. Odin-sama. Shouting in the art store is forbidden, trust points will be deducted from you. Aizu tried to shut Odin's excited mouth at this moment, but it was to no avail. Just like Wano, in Flevance, Kano, O'Hara, Women Island, Sky Island, Alabasta, Lumbville Nation. Everywhere there is an art store, Giant Dory and Broggy have become famous and their kind personalities have won the admiration of millions of people around the world.
Overnight, their fame that had been buried for more than 70 years ignited again, and the nicknames Red Ogre and Blue Ogre resurfaced again. But while the Giants fans were celebrating and cheering their overwhelming power,
Nami's fans were very worried. Just what happened to Nami? Why did she suddenly rise in temperature at the end of the volume? What will happen to her? Was she bitten by an insect because of her blatant undress? But even so, she was very sexy. Nami's fans will literally die if something happens to her. Just like Sanji. Chapter 88, Whitebeard Pirates entering Wano art store. Oh Yaji! What could that beacon-like thing in the sky be? Shall I go take a look?
Phoenix wings appeared on Marco's back and he was ready to fly to explore the situation.
Wait, Marco. Art store? Where can you enjoy the future?
That's interesting. I didn't think we'd meet such a surprise in Wano. The group of Whitebeard pirates stood behind Edward Newgate, who was in the peak of his youth.
They were all looking at the same thing.
The art store beacon was especially bright, as everyone in Wano could see, not to mention the Whitebeard pirates who were on a curry beach. They were very close to where the art store was. Let's go see what's there. One group will go with me and another group will guard the ship. Moby Dick was in such a bad shape that it needed an overhaul, but even so, they couldn't leave it out in the open unguarded. All of their wealth is in the ship after all.
Oden-sama.
Kinemon come running again, but this time he was worried. Oden and the rest of the Akazayas were inside the art store, so Kinemon didn't go to the daimyo residence but to the most populous place in the entire Wano. This place is an art store for sure.
What happened, Kinemon? Why are you in such a hurry? Oden looked at Kinemon and was slightly surprised by the worried expression on his subordinate's face.
A pirate ship from the outside world has crashed on Curry Beach and a lot of pirates have entered Wano now.
What did you say? A pirate ship from the outside world. Oden-sama. Why do you have an excited expression on your face? Kikunajo had an inexplicable sense of anxiety at this moment. I am uncomfortable about this matter.
The same thing applies to his older brother Aizu.
And me too. Kawamatsu, Nekomamushi, and Inuarashi too. Oden-sama. Kinemon and the rest of the Akazaya are surprised by their master's sudden movement. Oden got up from his seat and started running to the art store exit.
Just as it had originally happened, the moment Oden heard about the presence of a pirate ship on his land, his enthusiasm for seeing the outside world reappeared.
The enthusiasm was curtailed a little by the advent of the art store.
Those pirates who somehow managed to enter Wano were his only hope to realize his dreams. When Oden exits the art store, he meets face to face with the Whitebeard pirates, who are led by Whitebeard himself. A comical scene occurred where both parties froze looking at each other for a few seconds.
You are the pirates from the outside world? Yes, we are. The moment Oden heard the confirmation, he pounced on Whitebeard's leg, unwilling to let go. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Please allow me to get on your ship. Go away. You're annoying.
Whitebeard kicked Oden like a ball and sent him flying. Oden was able to establish himself in the sky and pulled out his swordsmen, who were thirsty to fight the strong people. It's time to find out whether or not this person deserves to carry him on his ship.
Whitebeard's expression changed as he sensed the other party's strength.
Guys, step away, this person is very unusual.
Oden's two-sword style. And just as it had originally happened, an earth-shattering battle erupted between Whitebeard and Oden and ended with Oden losing.
But this time the location of the battle and the number of witnesses were different.
The first difference is that they fought near the art store.
The second difference is that the battle were seen by a lot of Curry residents who flocked to the store gate,
as well as anxious Alakazayas. Oden-sama. How can you say such a thing? You're a daimyo of Curry. You can't go anywhere else. You're annoying, get out of this country. Kinemon looked at Whitebeard and said so. Whitebeard was busy analyzing the events of the day in his mind. We also hope we could.
Our ship destroyed after all.
Then fix it and go away.
The Whitebeard pirates ignored the cries of Odin, who was being held back by his subordinates, and entered the art store they had originally come here for. The moment they got here, the first thing that caught their attention and made them more interested was the shape of the building, before Odin walked out and took all their attention, causing their admiration for the shape of the building to turn to the strange samurai. It would be a lie if they said they didn't like someone like Odin. He was very powerful after all. Even someone like Whitey Bay expressed her admiration for Odin to Marco. Wow! The interior of this building is definitely huge. Devil fruit ability. In Whitey Bay's eyes, something abnormal like this could only be caused by a devil fruit. This couldn't be more clear, right? This time it was Jozu who spoke. Even Edward Newgate felt that this place was interesting in many ways. This place is special. I can smell the excitement in every fold. Look at the faces of the people here, they are all excited. Marco was more interested in the expressions of the people around them. You are right, what kind of future would make these people happy? I suddenly had a desire to explore it too, Gorarara. After Whitebeard and his crew finished reading the One Piece manga, they looked at each other and laughed non-stop for a while. What a fun One Piece manga! Gorarara. Roger gets executed in the first chapter. Yes, Oyaji, what a joke, how could those Navy bullshit catch someone like Roger? Marco still laughs at the author's sense of humor. Wait. Rude's D. Rob? Isn't that person, the Sky Sword, a member of the Roger Pirates? Why does he draw his captain dead? Whitebeard's expression changed when he heard Vista's words. Vista was right, how could a crew member cast such a bad omen on the head of his captain? I wonder, have Roger and his crew ever seen this book? What could this One Piece treasure be? I didn't know that the most mysterious treasure in the world was called One Piece. I'm your captain and I didn't know that, so how do you know that? The Whitebeard pirates continued to enthusiastically discuss the events of the One Piece manga. This store was really fun, they haven't enjoyed it like today in a very long time. Despite their initial confusion, that all changed as they continued reading the manga books. The amazing drawing and clear narration were two important factors that made the Whitebeard pirates' confusion fly out the window. All that remains is to have fun reading the manga. The adventures of the Straw Hat Pirates were fun, though they're diminutive in comparison to theirs. With the idea that this is a fictional story, they kept reading the manga, but every time they saw a world-famous character in the manga like Roger and Garp and characters they knew existed like Crocus and even Shanks and Buggy, they would ask themselves, is this really a fictional tale? Could this story really be the future? So doesn't this mean that Roger will overtake me to become the Pirate King? What a joke! Chapter 89, The Celestial Dragons Having Fun. The World Government Invitation. Ding! Plus 6,000 art point from Whitebeard, Edward Newgate. Ding! Plus 2,000 art point from Phoenix Marco. Ding! Plus 2,000 art points from Diamond Jozu. Ding! Plus 2,000 art points from Vista. Ding! Plus 1,000 art points from Whitey Bay. While Rob was busy making anime episodes in the Ohara art store, he suddenly received a lot of system notifications containing a good number of art points at once. Someone gives 6,000 art points in one go. What does this mean? Big shot. Whitebeard pirates? They've arrived at Wano, then. This means that the Wheel of Destiny is still moving as it is, even though I obstructed it so much. Well, it doesn't matter. While the Whitebeard pirates were enjoying the new art called manga, which they recently got acquainted with. Plus they have to contend with Odin's endless annoyance. In another place, the most hated people in the world, they were having so much fun. Mary Geos. The world before and after the manga is completely different, don't you agree, St. Merald? A celestial dragon with an ugly face and a big belly said with an excited expression. Sure, I feel proud that I was able to live in this era where the manga finally came out. St. Merald was a celestial dragon with a fickle temperament just like all celestial dragons. But ever since he started reading the One Piece manga, it seemed as if his fickle mood was diminishing. All the celestial dragons before the appearance of the art store were lacking in common sense, just like newborn babies. But after the art store appeared, they began to gain some common sense.
What do you think will happen to Alabasta?
They are under the threat of a powerful Shichibukai just like Mihawk.
Do you think Luffy will succeed in defeating a Shichibukai?
Since everyone has seen the strength of Mihawk, who is called the strongest swordsman in the world and also holds the title of Shichibukai, they believe that this joint title means the same level of strength or at least very close.
This is a miscalculation of the fans. How about we send the Admiral to support Luffy and his comrades?
The ugly-faced celestial dragon wanted to support his favorite crew with the most powerful weapon in his hand, sending Admiral.
Isn't the royal family Nefertari one of the 20 royal families who established the world government with us? I wonder why they refused to live in heaven and chose to live in the underworld. Are you idiot? How are we going to send the Admiral to the events that happened in the manga?
Well, maybe they still miss a lot of common sense. The celestial dragons were really having fun. Rob was probably the only Earth transmigrator that made the most scum of the world of the seas enjoy like this. Since the art store appeared in the middle of the domain of the gods, their lives had changed 180 degrees. Previously, they didn't have a specific program to spend their day on, and most of them were very bored. Therefore, their only entertainment was often confined to the torture of slaves or the organization of combative contests between slaves and beasts, or between slaves and each other. Or randomly feeding the slaves devil fruits. This was one of the best entertainment they had in the past. But now, with the emergence of the manga One Piece and the manga Bleach, these events have shrunk by a very large percentage. Who will take care of slaves when his mind gets the most wonderful entertainment? The dopamine that hadn't exploded in their minds like this before was dictating the following commands to them.
I want more One Piece manga. I want more Bleach manga. Will there be another manga coming?
The words may differ, but their desires are common. Through all of this, Rob discovered that the celestial dragons were simple creatures by nature. They were the weakest species that a human race could produce. When there is no sense of danger from the mind, when there is no sense of responsibility and the need to work and have a lot of authority and absolute freedom, you will have a celestial dragon. A human like a pig. Pigs can be tamed if you given the right opportunity. And the only person in the world who had such an opportunity was Rob himself. In the domain of the gods, the celestial dragons gathered together in groups, guarded by the black-suited agents who were looking extremely weary. These gatherings were mainly confined to the art store area. Out of the 10 celestial dragons, at least 9 of them had a manga book in their hands, whether it was open or not. Their conversation was limited to what will be the next manga for One Piece or what Aizen will do after he succeeds in getting his way. New World, the Flying Island Merville. The place was very quiet, the wind was the only source of the sound. The place looked desolate and deserted. The only source of light on the flying island was the beacon hanging in the sky that looked like an open book. Below the beacon was a white building that looked like a building out of a science fiction movie. This place used to be the Merville Art Store. The store that Rob opened here earlier after he finished fighting Shiki. Opening this store here was just a fleeting idea of Rob, but days later, it turns out he's already done a great service to the flying pirates. Outside, life was quiet. But inside the art store, the atmosphere was far from calm. Thousands of pirates gathered around the vending machines scattered in the store, wishing to break them down for more chocolate or hamburgers. Some of them also gathered around the borders of the 3 sections, wanting to explore every part of this strange place.
Jahahaha.
Giving me such a wonderful building as a parting gift is the best you can do as an apology to me, Sky Sword.
Shiki continued to drink cool whiskey while flipping through the manga pages while rereading the chapters of the One Piece manga avidly.
Is this your perception of the future, Sky Sword?
Deposed Pirate King Roger? So what is the role of this lion in your drawn future? I can't wait to find out, jihahaha.
You will be the true Pirate King, Captain.
Sky Sword is definitely dream about bullshit.
Yes, Captain.
Is that right? Jahahaha.
Yes, it's definitely fancy. I'll be the Pirate King.
Neither Roger nor Luffy can obtain that throne.
Back in Mary Geos, in the Pangaea Castle, the Gorosei, considered the highest authority in the world, they was studying an important decision for the time being.
And what is this decision?
Sending an official invitation from the world government to Rob.
Te recognition from the world government of the title of Mangaka King.
Cancellation the bounty of Rob. Giving Rob the freedom to do whatever he wants as long as he doesn't discredit the world government. In return, Rob has to teach the world government agents the basics of drawing manga. An obligation of confidentiality on this matter.
Chapter 90, A Deal with Whitebeard.
Rob exited the bamboo field between the Curry civilian area and the shore and entered Curry Beach, where the Moby Dick ship, which was currently under repair, was located. Both Whitebeard and Odin, those present in the venue, sensed an extremely powerful presence entering their senses and immediately raised their guard. The moment Rob appeared in their field of observation, Odin instantly recognized him while Whitebeard sank into thought, as he felt that the man in front of him was a bit familiar.
Oh. Rob Dono. You should have at least let me know you're coming, ha ha ha.
Odin said with his usual smile. While Whitebeard and his crew were surprised by this, they didn't think this person who seemed dangerous was Odin's acquaintance.
I can get here before my letter, so that's for the best, my friend. Oh, so then? Well, it's okay.
Only when he got close enough did the Whitebeard crew recognize him. After all, they were used to fighting Roger's crew. The second best swordsman in Roger's crew, worthy of their attention, after all. It's really Sky Sword, Rob. His wanted poster is here.
800 million berry, that's close to Oyaji bounty.
You forgot the most important thing, he is the author of One Piece.
You're really right. How can we forget this important thing?
Rob ignored the whispers of the Whitebeard pirates among themselves, as he was focusing on the most dangerous person in the place. From the moment he appeared here, Whitebeard was locked onto him with all his senses.
It looked like a mountain wishing to compress it down.
In the past, when former Rob was present in his crew's confrontations with Whitebeard's crew, he only looked at Whitebeard from afar and did not dare to approach. This man was like a mountain too tall to climb, just like his captain Roger. But now, even though his pressure was truly frightening, he was Whitebeard in his youth and peak strength after all, not the same person who had lost in the Marineford War. However, this pressure did not succeed in suppressing Rob's current presence, which was getting stronger by the day.
Garararara.
For a moment I thought Roger had removed his mustache and appeared in front of me.
Boyo, you're interesting.
Whitebeard's mood turned 180 degrees after making sure that the other party had no ill intentions towards him and his crew.
Odin looked at the confrontation between Whitebeard and Rob and fell into confusion. Do you guys know each other?
The whole world knows these two, but we know each other more privately.
But not in the same way that we know each other. Me, and you.
Whitey Bay approached to Odin in a very intimate way while she telling him some facts about their crew and Rob's crew.
Ah, so then.
Whitey Bay, after all, she was so pretty and sexy for someone who was obsessed with collecting harem in the past, so even Odin was secretly excited by the way Whitey Bay treated him. Maybe he'd dig another burrow tonight? This is if Whitebeard doesn't detect it, otherwise, it will turn into a pile of broken bones. Whitebeard pirates, Wano country is under my protection, so I hope you don't think of anything funny.
Rob looked at the ship of Moby Dick, which was currently under repair, and said so.
Although what he had originally said was an announcement that he was protecting Wano rather than alerting him to the Whitebeard pirates because he knew they wouldn't do anything bad.
There is a monster like this in Wano, why do they need to protect an outsider like you?
Since he was a pirate, Whitebeard wasn't bothered by Rob's words. After all, who could put their trust in a pirate?
But isn't Rob a pirate too?
This is what puzzled the Whitebeard pirates.
Oh, do you mean Odin?
He's like a kid who needs adventure. I bet he'll board your ship despite your nose. Someone like him can't protect anything, not even his family, let alone an entire country. When he heard these words, Odin's body, who was under contentment because of Whitey Bay's breasts that were pressed against his back, trembled.
In the moment. How could his friends say such a thing about him?
Rob Dono, I agree with you that our master is behaving like a kid who wants to live an adventure, but we will not allow you to insult our master. Our master can protect everything he wants to protect. Kinemon, Ashura-doji, Kanjuro, and the rest pointed their swords at Rob. After all, their master's dignity was a red line. Not even a great benefactor like Rob could insult him. No, in their eyes not even the highest person in the country, the shogun itself, could insult their master. What I said is not an insult in any way. Odin is my friend, I don't insult my friends, and I think he understands perfectly what I mean. Your little minds can't handle the words of great men, so don't point at me with your little tools. Rob pointed his finger in a motion that seemed very slow in the eyes of the 9 red scabbards, but before they realized the situation, all they could feel was being stunned before everything turned dark. This is their punishment for raising their swords against me. Don't tell me they don't deserve it, Odin. Odin looked at his loyal guards who had been struck by lightning and fainted, and at Rob for a while before sighing. You are right in everything you said. I always feel I'm cursed, but since you appeared in Wano I have felt my curse begin to recede. I am grateful to you for everything you have done, whether you done in public or even in private, but please don't hurt my friends again. If you want to hurt someone, you can hit me, I won't fight back. The Whitebeard pirates who were watching the show were completely dumbfounded. Even Whitebeard himself did not expect this situation. Hell! What is this position? That was lightning, wasn't it? Odin, I punished them, I didn't hurt them, even though one person among them really deserved death, but I wouldn't interfere with what you have to deal with yourself. If it were other people who raised their swords against me, it wouldn't just be a punishment, it would be a real hurt, their good fortune. They followed the right person. And you, Whitebeard, I'm going to talk to you in pirate language. I suppose you walked into my store and saw what I could offer. How about making a deal with me? Oh? A deal? What kind of deal is this? Do you not want a store like this in your lands? Rob pointed to the beacon hanging in the sky while speaking softly. When the Whitebeard pirates heard this, they ignored everything else they saw and completely focused on their father's answer. It was a chance to get the best they saw it in their adventures. How are they not excited? Okay, talk. What do you want in return? Money, treasures, lands, or women? I can give you what you want. Women? Even Rob was surprised by this. Where would Whitebeard get them from? He didn't remember any event involving slaves or women in which Whitebeard was involved in it. Was Whitebeard so unruly in his youth? Don't give me that look. We don't take slaves or deprive women of their liberties. We have a lot of lands in our care, and there are a lot of hot women looking for work. One word from me and you'll get as many as you want. Odin, who was examining the injuries of his loyal guards, shook once more and swallowed his saliva upon hearing Whitebeard's words. Lots of sexy women. I have really chosen the right man. How lucky he is. Whitey Bay, who saw Odin's interaction, let out a chuckle. She was really enjoying teasing this man. You have all it takes to make a successful deal with a lustful man, but I am not, I am a married man. Rob said with a gentleman's expression that made the Whitebeard pirates appreciate him even more. Then what do you want? Fighting against you with all your might. Choose an uninhabited island and let us fight to our heart's content. I will not regret even if you kill me. Ha! What? He just said? Want to fight Oyaji to the death? Is he crazy? Does he really want to die? Silence. Having silenced his annoying children, Whitebeard looked into Rob's determined eyes with a kind of astonishment. I didn't expect that a calm person like you would have such a burning fighting spirit. You really are a mysterious man. But you deserve a fight with me. It's decided. Open your store in my land first, and then I'll give you a satisfying fight. Rob soared high into the sky toward his next destination. After agreeing with Whitebeard on a place and time to set up an art store in his territory, he finally got out of Wano and was going to Dressrosa. Rob decided to set up a new art store there. With lightning speed, he moved away from Wano's atmosphere, and after 2 hours, he traveled 3 days by ship at his high speed. By chance, he flew over a small island and his hockey was able to pick up something interesting. A girl in distress, and not just any girl, but the most mysterious girl in the story of One Piece. That wraps up this part of What If Becoming a Mangaka in One Piece World. Thanks so much for listening. As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well.
See you in the next one.